I actually watched one of your videos on YouTube. That's how I found
Oh,
you. Exactly. It
thank
was one of
you.
those result videos, actually. One of your
Oh, and now you're making one.
exactly. There's no one that actually tells us like, okay, you make these errors where when you're
Yeah.
speaking. You have this gap in your knowledge that is necessary for TCF.
There's a quote that when you making a mistake is actually not an error, but making the same mistake again is an error.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je m'appelle Sukran. J'ai 25 ans. Je suis originaire de Turquie où j'ai grandi jusqu'à l'âge de 14 ans.
That means, do you suggest taking the speaking before the reading writing exam or choosing the speaking after the reading writing exam? Guys,
What
13
I
out
don't
of
want to sound
20.
bad.
She's heartbroken. Oh my God.
While I was making corrections in between the sentences, I realized after, but like I was typing something and it was deleting from what I have typed before.
No matter how many questions we treat Sukran, at the end, they will give you something that we both of us did not do. And that's what
Exactly.
exactly happened.
My advice would be it's scary, I know it's stressing, but taking the first step is gonna like put you forward than yesterday. And this is the time. I'm going full in.
Hey everyone! Today I'm here with yet another successful, cheesy, grand success story of one of my students, Sukran, who is not only just a proud student of Learn French with Anks Institute, but also almost a perfectionist. Yes, she joined us as at the level of A2. She has started her journey as complete beginner. Look at her score right here, which is just excellent because she has actually got like the highest so far in speaking in our institute. Now this makes me very much curious to know that what were her struggles like. How did she pull off this wonderful score wherein she cleared the whole of TCF Canada exam just in about 9 months. What were her struggles like? What was her journey? What did she do? And when she started her journey as a complete beginner, how she literally pulled it off just in about 9 months, how many hours she studied, and most importantly, didn't she feel like at times that she wanted to give up? Was it like really she learned few templates, or did she have a different strategy? How did she overcame all of these challenges that we face daily and made this day possible? Let's hear from her in the podcast. Watch it till the end because she has even shared the strategy as in how to prepare yourself mentally a week before the exam, a day before the exam, and also on the day of the exam. What are the do's and don'ts to clear your listening and reading exam? Do watch it till the end. Subscribe to the channel. Comment if you have any further questions, and we will be very happy to extend them for you and answer them for you. This is Ankita Agrawal. I am TEF and TCF Canada coach expert. I live in Toronto, and I do help tons of students to make their Canadian dream come true. And I am, as in our institute, is making the future Canadians, which we are super proud of. Let's get on to the podcast, guys.
Thank you, Sukran, for joining us today in our studio. It is just an excellent news that you scored not just like a golden score, but it's just an amazing feeling that you cleared the exam. And while I was having the conversations with you and I was taking your classes, I knew of course, I knew it that you will clear one day for sure. But this is going to be happen so soon is something definitely a surprise for me. Welcome to the studio and grand congratulations. How do you feel?
Thank you, Ankita, so much for your kind words. And I feel amazing. I feel relieved. I feel like the pressure is finally gone. And
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, I feel so happy with my results, and I'm waiting right now.
Yeah, and I remember the moment. This is something I want to share with everybody as a larger audience. Then, when Sukran got the result, and when we were chatting and congratulating, we both were behaving like the girls. It is those people in school who get 99 out of 100 and still crying. You know what? I got just 99, and Sukran was like, "Yeah, I got 17 out of 20, and in writing, I just got 13." And I'm like, Sukran, we can't do that. Both
I
of us are
know.
like, and it was not Sukran, it was actually me. You know what? You could have actually got 15 or maybe 16. And then we both realized, no, let's just embrace the success, because this is like amazing moment. And I'm sure many people are craving for this score, and you got it. This is brand news. I really want to know that how did you begin your journey? What was your timeline like? And how you came to this point of TCF Grand Success Story, please.
For sure. So I started with zero French background. I started with Bonjour in January of 2025, so this year. Actually, French was one of my New Year resolutions. I was like, I just want to get over with this exam. This is the time. I'm going. I'm going full in. So I started in January and I cleared my exam on October 4th, which makes exactly around like 9 months time frame.
Absolutely. Oh my God, 9 months. I
Exactly.
usually feel some people do reach out to me and say that, ma'am, it could be scam. 9 months timeline. But of course, you and then, of course, Nicholas and many other students who have cleared the exam in 9 months as a complete beginner. Tell us more about your journey. That how did you start? Whom did you join? How it worked for you? What was your style of learning? Everything, please.
For sure. Actually, like I was one of those students, I was one of those people. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know how long this process would take. We see today online there's so many resources, so many fake promises, false promises, or real promises. And I was one of them. When I first started, I started self studying. I wanted to see how far I could go with self studying. I basically invested in a lot of courses, a lot of study material, and I tried to figure out the basics of the language, the grammar, and everything. And after around a couple of months, I reached out to you. I actually watched one of your videos on YouTube. That's how I found
Oh,
you. Exactly. It was
thank
one of
you.
those result videos, actually, one of your
Oh,
school
and now
students.
you're making one.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah,
Manifestation. Yeah.
exactly. I was like, okay. And I reached out to you. When I first reached out to you, it was for a level test,
Level understanding. Yeah.
level
Yeah.
understanding. Because
Yeah.
with self-studying, what happens is that you study, there's a lot of material out there, but there is no clear boundary, there's no clear line that tells you, okay, now you're ready. Or okay, now you're B1, now you're B2. So you don't know actually where you're good at and where you lack. That's why I reached out to you. Thank God I did. And you told me that like okay, I came to like A2 B1 level, and that's when I started my courses with Samir. First I started group courses, but
Yeah.
I realized that one-on-one was more so my thing. It could
Yeah.
help me more, so I switched to one-on-one classes with Samira. With her, she told me that my situation was different because I was a bit perfectionist. I went all in with the grammar and everything. So we were doing some B2 level classes, some A2 level classes because I had some gaps in A2, but I
Yeah.
mastered some B2 concepts. So that period really helped me to close all my gaps in my knowledge, all the levels, get all the levels done before focusing on TCF preparation.
Yes.
That's when I started TCF preparation. I was with you. I switched to your classes, and that's where we went full in. We were like, we
Yeah.
were speaking, we were doing writing, we were doing
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
full focus
Yeah.
TCF. And I feel like that was the last, like, the point that was like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yes.
We got through
But
this.
again, I remember the conversation also we have had that you actually thought you might not be able to make it right now. You were not ready and you wanted to prolong the exam to November, December, to which I interrupted and said, no, you're ready. And we strategized your exam. That let's
Like,
say you miss one of the modules, then this is how the timeline should be. And I think that strategy worked because at the end there was no point in like doing so much more which was not needed in your case. And Sukran, so there are, as you started your journey as a complete beginner and of course doing a lot of online self courses yourself, do you really think to the larger audience that self-paced courses, self-learning does really help to reach the TCF goal, the TEF success within such less time frame, like 9 months? What is your take on that?
so I feel like the key word here to focus on is the time frame. Most of people, as I know, we have a limited time frame. We have expiring permits. We have like the deadline is there. The stress is only getting more as we get closer to deadline. So here, our goal is to like make this process as quick as possible, save as much as energy, save as much as stress and money as we can. So in that sense, I feel like self-studying, of course, it works up to a certain point. Like it's good to have a start off, get up, like to catch the momentum. I feel like it's good, but where it lacks is while we're self-prepping, there is no one that actually tells us like, okay, you make these errors where when you're
Yeah.
speaking, you have this gap in your knowledge that is necessary for TCF. And especially our level gets higher. I feel like around B1 and B2 level, TCF guidance is necessary because with language learning, there is no end to it. There's like unlimited resources. And what is important here, in order to get our goal, in order to reach our goal within the time frame, is a good guidance. I feel like that makes all the difference in this process. Someone to tell us, okay, these are all the resources, but right now we have to focus on this, and with you, like personalized, here it comes into play. With you, you have to focus for more on speaking, or you have to focus more on these mistakes. That actually helps us save a lot of time.
Yes, that is true. I totally agree with it. And how did our speaking session when you and I was into training period? I remember the time when we just began, as in you and I, you were very nervous. And by the time you finished your exam day, you were almost pro. How this changed happened? As in, what did you go through? What were your feelings? How did you overcome those challenges and struggle?
For sure. So with the TCF, the part that challenged me the most was speaking, and I feel like that's the case for most of the people.
True.
Speaking is different. Speaking in a different language, you have to think for the vocabulary, the rules, everything at once, and there's also the exam pressure. So self-studying for that is almost impossible because like there's no one to correct you, nothing. But with you, Ankita, I remember even we with Ankita we did some real exam stimulations where she
Yes.
actually role played the examinator, and I was being tested. Towards the end, we
Every
were doing
day.
every single day we were meeting.
Every day. Yeah.
At first, obviously, like I was so stressed. Even like I could feel my heart beating really fast before our classes because I was like, okay, what if I fail? What if I do this? But every time Ankita reminded me, she was like, okay, this is practice. Don't stress. This is just practice. We are getting ready. This is not the exam date. We are just getting ready. And with that mentality, with that change, I was like, towards the end, I saw myself, okay, I can speak actually. Like
Yeah.
before a week before the exam, I was like, I can go on for like 5 minutes without stopping. I can speak, and which made it possible was our regular regular meetups.
Yeah.
Every single day we were meeting, or before it was like 3 times a week, and with practice it makes perfect. So people who are like who feel a bit intimidated by the speaking part, I really recommend them to like just start today. You're gonna get ahead for sure.
Yes, for sure. But I would also like to add two more points to your journey when you were with me as a great speaker. A, you used to take feedback very religiously. very seriously. So, to the larger audience, guys, there's a quote. I cannot quote, but there's a quote that when you making a mistake is actually not an error, but making the same mistake again is an error. So, Sukran used to make sure that she doesn't repeat her errors. Once the feedback is given, okay, no, Sukran, you're getting out of the topic. No, no, no. See, the question asks you to answer this, but you are answering this. So let's say if I give her a similar topic next time, then she ensures that she doesn't do those errors. So did you used to like take notes out of it? Because I don't think you ever listen the recordings or anything like that. So what was your strategy? Because you used to note, and that is a
Yeah,
great thing that you used to do. So
exactly.
what was the way that you did this?
So what I did that, to be honest, personally, I'm not a fan of going over the recordings because like we live the class in real time, right? So for me,
Yes.
what's important was that to get most out of this class that I have with Ankita, this hour, 1 hour class today, and get better from this.
Yeah.
So we would do speaking exercises. Ankita would talk, like literally, she would tell me, okay, this you need to improve. This you need to like maybe shorten these, and then give an example on this. So I would, as she was speaking, I would literally like note down every single that she was saying, and after the class, I would go over them. I was like, okay, these are the areas that I have to focus. So before our next class, I would make sure that like I'm over, like I'm done with these mistakes. So we're only going forward from now.
Very good. Awesome. Yeah. Making the a note of the error is a key takeaway here, because if you work on the error, you're progressing. Simple.
Exactly.
That's how it is. And we did about like 80, 90 topics, I believe. Maybe
Even
around that,
more, I feel
maybe
like.
more than that. Yeah. So and in case of Sukrin, I don't think this much of grill was needed because you were very good what you were doing. Can you please give me a nice presentez-vous if you don't mind? Because your presentez-vous was so impressive. If you don't mind.
Of course, okay. Um,
Presentez-vous.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je m'appelle Sukran. J'ai 25 ans. Je suis originaire de Turquie où j'ai grandi jusqu'à l'âge de 14 ans. Et je réside à Toronto depuis maintenant 10 ans. Je suis l'année de ma famille avec deux jeunes frères qui étudient également au Canada. Je travaille actuellement comme nutritionniste et depuis 3 ans, je
Hmm.
fais du bénévolat dans un hôpital.
Très bien. Et pourquoi vous avez choisi le Canada?
Oh, le Canada. J'ai choisi le Canada car c'est un pays qui offre une multitude, d'opportunités aux habitants, que ce soit,
Wait,
oui, que ce soit,
wait.
wait,
That's okay. This is how it is.
I
See,
feel like I'm back in the exam now.
that's okay. I don't
It's
want to
real,
put
the
you into that
pressure is
spot.
real.
Any. I know the pressure is real. It's okay. I don't want to put you into that spot anymore. But this was amazing again, Sukran. Thank you so much. Now, I also want to know that because you come from the Turkish background, so you did not. How did you develop a confidence in us? Because we are not native, we don't have that French accent, and we truly accept that because this is how it is. It's language. I speak flat
Mhm.
English, I speak flat French. So were you not like nervous, nervous that, oh my God, I'm not taking classes from native?
So for me, to be honest, being native or not, it's not really for me. For speaking,
Hmm.
like it's language is such a broad topic. It's like the only point to communicate. It's not through having the perfect accent. It's
Yeah,
actually through the knowledge, the basis, the foundation. And
yeah.
especially for exam preparation, I needed someone to guide me that knows TCF. That for sure, if someone's studying for TEF,
DF, yeah.
that knows the exam structure, that knows what I need to focus on. Because to be honest, like my primary goal was to like pass this exam as soon as possible. So that's where I found you, and I was like, okay, she knows what she's talking about. She knows the exam. She can help me with that, and I decided to join the yeah.
And
And I'm
the
happy
rest is
to join.
secondary. Yes, for
Exactly.
sure. Absolutely. You know, because I do get this a lot sometimes. There is a myth that one should always and must learn from native trainer. But there's nothing wrong in that strategy. But what I also feel that what matters is your goal. If your goal is just to learn French for fun, native. If your goal is to learn for exam specific training, the trainer should have taken the exam to make you go through that grind which you went through.
Exactly.
This topic, even I remember when we also talked about these topics are less important, these topics are more important, do this, don't do this. So these strategies are more important when it comes to exam versus any native accent. So
Exactly. I feel the
this is
same.
my usual take. And also, Sukren, for the point that the day of the exam, I
Mhm.
usually get this a lot, that how do I prepare a week before the exam, a day before the exam, and the day of the exam? What was your take? What was your strategy like? What did
For
you do?
sure. So, a week before the exam, I started arranging my sleep schedule. I was
Wow.
like, okay, I have to, because sleep is one of the most important things. I was like, I need to wake up at the time of the exam because I took the exam early. So I was like, I need to get my body used to waking up early and have enough sleep once it wakes up early. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say sleep. Nutrition is really important. Don't eat
Mm-hmm.
something different that can give you like foodborne illness that's gonna like affect your affect your efficiency in the exam. And
Yes.
I'd say stress management. I feel like this is not mentioned enough in this sector. It's like this passing, like this journey is stressful, and it's stressful
Yeah.
for everyone. And I feel like it is crucial to have some kind of like coping mechanism, healthy coping mechanisms, be it like meditation, grounding exercises, or like having a your family members, having someone that supports you. Like with me, I was lucky because my family, like I could always feel their support as well as my boyfriend. So having
Mm.
this like bond with them. The day before exam, what I did was like I went over my templates. I didn't do like crazy studying because by the time of your exam, you should have the knowledge overall. Just
Mhm.
going over the basics, just refreshing the ideas in your brain. I feel like that would help, but without overstressing. I feel like the last week, the last day, what we need to focus is just be ourselves, just like be grounded in ourselves, have trust in ourselves, and that's
Yeah.
it. On
Yeah.
the day of exam, of course, it changes, the energy changes, it shifts. It's stressful. But what happened with mine was that in the exam center, everybody was so friendly, they were so helpful. So that really helped me. And before the exam, they told us to come like 45 minutes before. So we had some time to actually sit down, just cool down the nerves before starting the exam. And during that time, I was trying to like do some like breathing exercises to like just get the stress controlled. But yeah, I would suggest these things.
So, Krit, in terms of resources and material, study material like pen, paper, pencil, what stationery you carried, or what the headset was something that you had to carry to your exam center?
No, unfortunately, they don't allow anything in the exam center on the day of the exam, except for your passport and also your registration form that you have to print it out before going there.
Uh-huh.
I had my notebook with me, but you have to put it in the locker before going into the exam, actually. So with
Okay.
my case, what happened was that after completing the reading, listening, and writing part, I had around like 2 hour block in between. So that's why I
Mhm.
had my notebook to go over the templates for speaking. But apart from that, they didn't take anything in. Yeah.
That means, do you suggest taking the speaking before the reading writing exam, or choosing the speaking after the reading writing exam?
In my
Any opinion?
Yeah, I didn't have a preference in my case. It was just like the first three was first and the speaking was after. But that worked for me actually because like
Mm.
first I got over with them and then I was like I could actually focus on speaking prep like only for 2 hours. But I that was enough to go over the topics to just to refresh them in my mind.
Wow, nice. But since you said that you got the reading listening before, and you must have got the result immediately, right? So
Yes.
how was your feeling about like getting C1s and reading and listening, which is again like monster for many? So first let's talk about listening. How did you cope up with listening in 9 months? Why didn't you give up on listening?
To be honest, I found listening challenging at first. Obviously, like as a beginner, I wasn't able to understand anything. Even sometimes with the subtitles, I had to like stop constantly to understand what was going on. But guys, like this is how it starts. I feel like first thing is to not be overly perfectionist, because being
Mm,
perfectionist really doesn't help us in this process. So what I've started with beginner level resources online. Like there are a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of storytellings for like A1, A2 level learners. I started with those. And towards as I was progressing, I changed my resources. I shifted more so like radios. I used Radio Friends. I loved I know there's RFI and also Radio Friends. I don't know why
yeah.
RFI's layout didn't really work for me. I found it a bit complicated. So with Radio
Yeah.
Friends, every single day, every single morning, they highlight some of the episodes, some parts of the episodes. So you don't have
Wow.
to, yeah, you don't have to listen to like hours of radio. You can, and they categorize it based on your interest that day. You can just select one, and that's what I did every single morning while I was having my breakfast. As soon as I woke up, I would turn Radio Friends on and listen to it. Listen to it. Apart from that, on YouTube, I'm not someone that likes really like watching movies or like series. So what I did was I watched a lot of documentaries on YouTube, on channels like Art,
Yeah.
and that really helped me because I feel like that really helped me to get some vocabulary for a tâche trois, where
Mm,
because like each documentary focuses on different things. Some focus on like some focuses on sorry, some focus on chirurgie esthétique. Some focus
yeah.
on food problems. Some focus on réchauffement
Political
climatique.
problem, home
Exactly.
farm and all of that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those really helped me, these documentaries.
Yeah, that's amazing for sure. And what about reading? So, what did you do for the reading bit? So, how did you got this grand score?
For reading, I would say I did a lot of online reading. I was
Okay.
going to a website. I was doing some like reading practice questions online.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, I bought two French I have two French books that I read like twice.
Oh,
So
wow.
it really helped me actually. Yeah, to because with reading, it's I feel like reading helps with everything. Reading practice helps with your
Yeah.
writing, your speaking. It all connects in reading, I feel like. That's why I
Yeah.
try to read every single day. And yeah, that's helped me a lot.
For sure. And lastly, about the writing module, because that's the one which is left out. And again, we both were like chatting, oh, we were thinking to get 15 out of 20, and now we got 13. So coming back to that, I had obviously done few corrections and told you the strategy and template and what works, what doesn't work. So did you used to write daily or you used to write just once a week? What was your take on the writing part?
So for writing, actually, I'm kind of heartbroken with my score because I was expecting better.
Oh,
Really. But
guys,
what happened?
13
I
out
don't
of
want to sound
20.
bad.
She's heartbroken. Oh my
No, no, I don't want to sound like in the bad way. But what
God.
happened is that I feel like that's really important for everyone to know too.
Please tell.
The system of writing during the exam is different. So what happens is that you have the accents on the screen that you have to actually use your mouse for that. So I found it really challenging for me because I was typing and I had to find the accent. And with the letters with accent, I couldn't make them like capital letters. So if I was doing, let's say, a sorry, title, if I
Yeah.
was writing a title, I was trying to find, okay, how do I make it a capital letter and things. And
Yeah.
also, while I was making corrections in between the sentences, I realized after, but like I was typing something and it was deleting from what I have typed before. So I found it really like I was like, what's happening here? Because like I typed, and I was like, okay, where's the rest of my writing? So I had to lose a
Oh,
lot of time in task one. I had to over like do it again. So that's why I feel like one thing that is really important is to know how the exam is gonna be, how the system of the writing in the exam is gonna be. Second is to make timed practices. So I would do writing almost every day, but not really timed. And
Hmm.
time management is crucial in writing because we have only 1 hour for three tasks. So
Hmm.
I would suggest anyone to, while they're doing writing practices, to time it so that they're
Hmm.
ready to go in the exam day.
Right. I think that is now making sense to me, Sukran. Why are you saying so? Because I have had few results last week, couple of them. Student got three C1s, and in writing they got B2, not even B2 plus. So I understand that now, maybe because they were struggling or fiddling with the system, which was putting a strain on their mental health also, and in terms of their preparation. Oh no, this is something I did not anticipate, and this is happening. So that makes sense now. Now, of course, I would like to cry again. 13. Oh, now it makes sense. Now
So
it
it's
makes sense.
Yeah, and you asked me, I was like, as soon as I finished reading, listening, and writing, they gave me the results only for reading and listening. So I was like, okay, I'm happy, but I don't know what happened with writing. Like, that really puts a toll on your mentality during the exam
Yes.
because you're like, what just happened? You know?
Yeah. And that's what you said when you came out of the center on the day of the exam and asked you how did it go? And you were like, I'm only nervous about writing because that's something might just, could be a ding down for us versus the rest three are good to go. So yeah, I know. I get it now. I truly understand the feeling here. I think the system of TCF and TEF both are needed to be upgraded, considering tons of people are taking exam every day. They really need to go ahead and upgrade their system now. We should
Exactly.
have that accent control, which is again, I don't know when would that day come, but yes, hopefully it comes. Right. So I do have some questions prepared here as well for you, and you have to answer me as quickly as possible, and maybe in one word, if
Sure.
possible. Okay. So if French were a person, how would you describe your relationship with it now? Love story, hate love, long distance relationship.
I love this question. So I would say that it's a long-term relationship for by
Okay,
now.
long
It's
term.
it's it's a
Okay.
9 months. I would say I it's a relationship that I made a lot of investments in it, but now it's paying me off. Now I have a positive relationship with it.
Okay, then it is fine. Long term. Understood. Committed. If French were a person, how would you describe them?
Mm. I would say definitely that they're someone passionate, expressive, because French is a language. Like in English, we say "I'm happy." French, there's like "je suis contente," "je suis heureuse," "je suis ravie," "je suis épanouie." So many different ways to express yourself. So someone expressive, and I would say someone all over the place.
All over the
Unfortunately,
place.
so many
Lots of
rules,
exceptional.
so
No,
many
so many
irregularities.
exceptions. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What drives you crazy, or which one drives you more crazier? Gender of noun or verb conjugation?
No, gender of nouns. I find verb conjugations, you can play around it. There are some tricks and everything, but with the nouns, it's one way or another.
True. What's the funniest mistake, if you remember, you did while learning French? Could be mispronunciation or maybe a word that changed the meaning altogether.
I've had a lot, I'm sure. But what I struggled until the last day, I mixed up two words that are really similar yet so different in meaning. One was that one is épuisante, one is épanouissante. So
Yes.
it's like one means like it's really hard, it's like challenging.
Tired.
The other one means like flourishing. It's some so different, like
Yeah.
positive and
Yeah.
negative. But I would always
Yeah.
mix them up. Yeah.
Yes, I remember. Okay. If you had to describe the TCF exam in one French sentence, what would that be?
Exigeante.
Exigeante. Oui,
Oui,
true.
not
Merci.
gonna lie.
Yes. Yes, sure. Which French word do you find the prettiest?
The
Nice.
prettiest. There
I
are a
mean,
lot.
there are a lot,
It's
yeah.
like émerveillante. It's like it's
Oui, Emery.
I like anything that has positive meaning behind it. It's like époustouflante, émerveillante. Oui, these I feel like.
Oui, je vois, je vois.
Je vois.
confused. Je
Oh
vois.
my
I
god, I
remember that.
know.
Je vois. And then
Je
after
vois.
that, Sukran in every sentence, je vois. Je
I love
vois.
that a lot.
Stop using je vois. Okay, cool. Awesome. What one French word you still can't pronounce right? For me, there are
Oh,
still many.
there
There are
obviously
many.
there's some, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give you two examples. One is I have to say it slowly because it's hard. Infrastructure, infrastructure,
Infrastructure. Yeah.
infrastructure. Second one is chirurgie, chirurgie.
Yeah. With the R, the with the rolled
Yeah,
R. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
True. True. Okay. What would you say to someone scared of starting French? Open-ended question. What would be your piece of advice to somebody who is just begin?
My advice would be it's scary, I know, it's stressing, but taking the first step is gonna like put you forward than yesterday. So I feel like important is to take that first step as soon as possible so that you're a step closer to your goal than yesterday. So go for it. It's hard, I'm not gonna lie. It is a challenging process. It requires a lot of discipline, a lot of work, but it's possible. And knowing that
For
it's
sure.
possible, it's a driving force. I feel like right now we see with the immigration policies and everything, French is highly um, prioritized. So I feel like this is the way to go. Just make the decision as soon as possible, and after making it, take the first step. The rest comes.
Wow, right. And how do they overcome their daily stress levels? For example, uh, there are times when we want to give up because it's a long journey. Like some
Exactly.
people have to even invest 11 months, 10 months, 12
Mhm.
months, or even more than that. So
Mhm.
how they can stay consistent and self-motivated, according to you?
For sure. First of all, I would say don't compare yourself to anyone because everyone's timing is different. Just
Yeah.
because I did it in 9 months or somebody else did it even earlier doesn't mean that you have to do it too. So stop comparing. Everyone's different. Apart from that, obviously, like the hardest part for me was to show up every single day. But
Yeah.
that's what matters. So even if you feel low, even if you don't want to do anything in French, just watch a movie in French. Just listen to something in French. Like keep the momentum going. I would say never stop the momentum. Slowly, even if you feel stressed, feel bad, just continue and it'll come to you. And in terms of stress management, I did a lot of meditations. There's so many meditations online. YouTube, you could just say like meditation for success, guided meditation for success, and those help to calm the nerves down.
Yeah, that's amazing because I have never actually taken this advice or heard this advice that meditation could also be a part of this learning journey process. And as you said rightly, stress management is something has not anybody talked about. So this is something very important too. Very good point, Sukran. Okay, so if you would go back to your A2 self, what advice you give her?
I'm so certain on this. I would say don't be such a perfectionist. Because
Yeah.
language learning, you can't proceed by being you can't look for perfection in every single thing. What's important is to proceed. What's important to take another step, another step. I feel like in A2, B1, we want to like master all these grammar concepts. We want to memorize all
Mm.
these gender rules, everything. But over time, it's like it's impossible to memorize everything. So I
Or
would
retain so much.
exactly. Focus
Yeah,
on what's important and go ahead. Because like in B1, again, you're gonna see that concept. You're gonna learn more from it. You're gonna learn more from it, and that's how like learning goes on. So don't
noted.
be perfectionist and show up every day. You're gonna get it, I would say. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Exactly. And if your French speaking skill were a movie title, what would be? Mission Possible instead of Impossible? Fast and Curious?
Oh,
Grammar War? Or
mm,
anything else?
I'd say Mission Possible, and
Mission
the
Possible.
genre would be thriller at first because it
The,
was
the,
really hard.
the genre would be the thriller first, okay?
Yeah, genre is thriller, Mission Possible.
And
Obviously, at first
ended by romance.
Yeah, and it felt romance and romantic comedy and everything. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, ended by
it's a
romantic
journey.
comedy. Yeah, yeah, true. So true. Yes, Mission Possible. But you were, of course, the Fast and Curious too. So we can even give you that title too, because
Okay.
you were fast, you were curious. But why not this? Why that? So great. And then the next one, which I have for you, which could be the last one. Oh, yes,
Mhm.
important. What impact did French language have on you as a person?
Me as a person, I would say, apart from obviously this, like the permits and everything, it opened already so many doors to me. As soon as I passed this exam, I updated my resume. I put like trilingual now. It's like French proficient. And obviously, in Canadian job market, it helps us a lot being bilingual in French and English. So in that sense, it helped me a lot. Apart from that, resources, I would say even now I passed the exam when I'm bored, I can just like open a French video and like get some ideas from French speakers, get some ideas from French politicians. It opened a whole new door to like this whole new world that I have access to, and I feel like this is something really valuable to take advantage of. So I would say that these two, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it sometimes I feel French makes us a very different person too, because French actually takes the Lord out from us.
I would
It
say
takes us, yeah.
I realized after studying for TCF, after seeing all this, being immersed in all this French media, I started thinking, like really, I started thinking about the
Mhm.
issues in the world, what's going on, the politics, réchauffement, réchauffement climatique, everything, the gender rule, everything. I was like, okay, so this is what's going on. I feel like it opened my eyes. It made me start thinking again. It made me start
Yes.
thinking critically again, have an idea on so many different topics. So I'd say
Yes.
don't think only about the exam, but as a person, it helped me a lot. It gave
It
me a
does.
lot.
It
Yeah.
does. And before I let you go, I get this question a lot, Sukran. If you could also help me maybe answer to many audience today. How many hours an average a person should spend on a study to make this possible within 9 months? How the daily routine should be put across, how exactly, if I could help them, because I know I never had a concrete answer, but maybe you could help,
For sure. So everyone's schedule is different, but I'll tell you about mine. At first,
please.
I was studying. I started with 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes, because that was mostly like grammar rules, vocab, and everything. Towards the end, last month, all I did was studying, because I was lucky in that sense, because like my job is online and it starts in the evening. So I studied from morning until 6 p.m. every single day. So I studied around like, I don't know, sometimes 7, 8 hours. Um,
Wow.
I'm not sure. For that, I would say average of like, for starting, it's different. It's like 4 hours a daily. It would, I feel like that would do, even less, depending on the day. But
Mhm.
towards the end, it needs to get more. And more than studying, I feel like what helps people is, if you don't have like 7 hours to sit down and study, what you can do is that incorporate French in your daily life. So even when I was working in the office, I would just like put on my headphones, my earphones, and listen to something in the background in French, just to like have it active going on my brain. Yeah, I would say that.
No, for sure, that is really, really important, and it's a way that how we divide our day, right? Time, like whether we are doing reading, listening, speaking, or grammar, or conjugation, vocabulary, whatnot, because
Exactly.
there's a lot on the plate already. And Sukrin, now there are times when students do ask for the last minute crash course and last minute preparation. Is there something like they can just memorize the templates or your notes and go ahead and clear the exam? There must be some sort of that last minute crash course strategy.
I know that's something going on, and as we discussed, there's a lot of misguidance, there's a lot of misinformation online. But I would say that no, this is TCF is structured in a way that they actually test your language ability. So you can't just memorize a template and go in and say, okay, I passed, because the examiner will know, first of all, for sure. Instead, what's important is to have practice, to have exposure to as many as questions that we can have. I did it with Ankita. We were meeting every single day. We were practicing on different topics. And even like I know they're online, like there's some questions. Obviously, having some idea banks, writing down your arguments, writing down your examples. I did that for I think more than like hundreds of questions. But in the exam day, I got a question completely different. So
Yeah.
if templates
And
could
that's
save
that I
someone, that was
remember.
me. But
Yeah,
no,
exactly. And that was the same conversation we have had, I think, a day before the exam. No
exactly,
matter how many questions we treat Sukrit, at the end, they will give you something that we both of us did not do. And that's what
exactly.
exactly happened. So
Yes.
did you expect that you would clear in the first go?
Partially, but mostly no, because I told you already, like I'm a perfectionist. I judge myself a lot based on
Yeah,
my
for
mistakes.
sure.
So I was like, even when you told me, like you said already, I was planning to take the exam in November, but Ankita was
Yeah.
like, no, 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 you don't need to waste that much time. You can take it earlier. And I'm glad I did, because I feel like having an eye, like Ankita, or having your guider who tells you who already tutored so many people and saw how they performed, they can give you an idea of if you're ready or not. And I trusted when Ankita told me that I was ready, and thank God I did. That saved me like 2 more months of effort and energy and everything. So yeah.
No, I'm glad, and I had nothing more to teach you because we had done so
Yeah.
many topics, and I'm like, Sukrat, I don't think we've left anything now because
We
we
were like,
did
let's still take
almost,
it.
yeah, almost hundreds of topics. And imagine how it must be
Exactly.
like meeting a perfectionist every day. It was more stressful for me. I should be sitting on the other side now. Okay, Ankita, tell me how it was like teaching me. It was difficult, but it was
Oh,
amazing. It was amazing to have
thank you
you
so
as
much.
not as my student, but of course as somebody who belongs to this community, Sukrin. And thank you so much today for taking
Thank you
time
so
out
much.
today. I really wish you a tons of success ahead. Your piece of advices, your strategies that I'm sure would help a lots and lots of people. And thank you for being such a great student. And more than that,
Yeah,
while you were perfectionist yourself, you never shied away from taking my feedback. You never judged the fact that, Ankita could also be saying something wrong. And I must have during the process, because language, as you said, is a broad spectrum. We really cannot literally expertise it, but at the end we both work together as a team, and I'm so happy that you nailed it in
thank you
much
so
lesser
much.
time than anticipated. Thank you once again for your time today. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Ankita. Bye.
Bye.